Awesome. Hello and welcome.
Hey guys.
Hi.
You have a few new faces. I love it. Hi, Amy. Oh yeah, if you can't for some reason unmute yourself, then you're welcome to type in the chat. Hi, Carl. Hi, Rachel. And David. Awesome. We have two Davids.
Oh my gosh.
I love it. Where is everybody joining us? Are these people from San Diego or from different areas?
I'm from Los Angeles, Santa Monica,
Oh, awesome.
and I was down with Dana a few years ago. Joel Anderson was presenting. He's been part of our program, Sing and Speak for Kids, which helps kids with speech delays using music program that we have created.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And we're looking forward to this because we see that the siblings are playing with their younger ones, and it's really great to hear what you're doing, and that's why I'm here today. I'm looking forward to it.
Great.
Thanks for joining us. We have David Wahlberg calling from Alaska. That's amazing. I'm glad you joined. And then Rachel from Illinois. Woo. Got a diverse
Great
group.
group.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and get started real quick. Share my screen. So we do a little lunch and learn welcome, a few welcome slides with a couple Zoom rules before we hand it off to our guest speaker. So it's just a refresher for those of you who are returning or those who are new. Welcome. We have so many new families. Please mute yourself when you're not speaking while our guest speaker is speaking. That we will have a Q&A at the end. You can feel free to unmute yourself then and connect with them and ask any questions, introduce yourself. We recommend speaker view for presentation. Video sharing is optional, though we love to see all your smiling faces, of course. And please type all questions and comments into the chat as well. Please feel free to use the chat, period. I will help monitor it during the Q&A. I know Jeniece can also see it, so you're welcome to answer questions as you go as well. So a quick update from Autism Tree. We have now 500 brand new families who have joined our Autism Tree family since January 1st, 2023, which is a huge record for us. All of last year, we did an intake number of 560 new families. So we're already at 500 and it's only the end of August and September. So we are on track to hit a new record for us. So welcome to all of our new families. We're so grateful you're here, especially from families of, all over the country. We offer at Autism Tree 20 programs. 9 are in person here in San Diego County. 7 are hybrid, which is both in person and available online. And then 4 are virtual. So you're definitely welcome to have your kids join any of our events. We also have events for parents and for siblings. Siblings are also welcome to come to our events too. So we have 16 events, upcoming events in September, and that is definitely going up because we just scheduled our USD basketball and football programs for this year. So I'm really excited. So check our social media for announcements. We always update programs on there, on our Facebook calendars and website calendars. Events this week, we have our virtual parent happy hour. If you are a new parent and you want to meet other parents in our Autism Tree community, you can join on this Friday on Zoom. It's from 5 to 6 and Pacific time. And it's a really just fun parent happy hour where we just talk about, get to know each other. And sometimes we help families or parents going through a certain thing with their kid. It's a really great place to get resources and just connect. And then we also have our Lego play group going on in person in San Diego County this Saturday, Saturday morning, adaptive dance, which happens every single week. We're starting back a new session for the fall. So that is this week we have our ages 6 through 12. And then next week we have 13 through 24. And these adaptive dance classes are for anybody to join. We have a limit to in-person to 10 kids. However, you can join online, and as many people as they want can join online. Our Project Sunshine Here to Play workshop, which is in person as well, is this, is coming up next week. So there's still time to register for that one. We have 550 videos on our Autism Tree YouTube channel of all of our different programs from all of our different program directors and volunteers. A lot of great resources on there that you can check out. And of course, 130 of those videos are our lunch and learns that we were able to upload. We've been starting these since the pandemic, and it's been such a magical experience getting to know everybody online. So please welcome our guest speaker tonight, Jeniece Dortch. And I'm going to hand it off to Dana Hoff, our co-executive director, who will say a few words before Jeniece gets started.
Thank you, Rebecca. It's so fun to be here with everyone, and I'm super touched that there's so many of you from different parts of the country. I think that's definitely one of the top 3 reasons why Rebecca and I keep working with you guys on this Lunch and Learn series. It's so meaningful. I just can't say enough how much we use these Lunch and Learns as resources in surprising ways, because it seems like every day, if not week, we have so many opportunities with people that are wanting to get involved with the foundation. And a lot of times we use these Lunch and Learns as a way to introduce them to other people that we think could be advantageous to them, or other families if it's a family member that they might be able to learn from. And on that note, I want to tell you we're working really hard on our annual neuroscience conference. For those of you that don't know, we've been working on that conference for over a decade. And we've had over 170,000 views now of our neuroscience conference on the UCTV platform. UCTV is the one who records it, and they track every speaker. And if you haven't ever looked at our conference, it's all there for you. The panels are also amazing. A lot of the scientific stuff is very high level research being done in the autism field, but the panels tend to be more about people living successfully with autism. Is a panel that we always do, Autism at Work. And this year, for the first time ever, we're going to have a siblings panel, and we're so excited. That's one of the ways we met our beautiful speaker today, is Rebecca and I were watching videos of Jeniece and just kind of honestly fell in love with you when you were in the car with your kids, Jeniece. And so I'm so excited for you guys to meet her today. And I want to say, if you haven't registered for our neuroscience conference, it is in person and online. It's hybrid. And I want to thank Jeff, who's on here from Massachusetts, for being very involved in helping us with the conference since he was on a panel before the pandemic. Jeff will be out here working with our team. And if you haven't met some of us in person, it's certainly a great way to get to know our community and learn a lot as well and be inspired. So thank you to everyone who's also helping us in ways of promoting all the efforts that we're doing. And if you haven't actually made a video, you're always welcome to do that. If you can tell, we have a huge video library outside of the Lunch and Learns. And if you haven't ever checked it out, it's pretty interesting and fun, because people are just sharing all kinds of things. And it doesn't even matter what age range we're talking about. There's something on there for everyone. And today I feel like this is really extra special because we haven't had a speaker talking about siblings, I don't think, all year this year. So it's going to be exciting, and also to learn from Jeniece, because she is a mother of 7, which completely blows my mind. I don't know how you do it. I want to turn the Lunch and Learn over to you and say thank you so much. It's really great to have you as part of our family.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dana. Thank you to the Autism Tree. I appreciate you guys reaching out to me. And I'm just excited to be able to share my experience and why I started this organization and a little bit about myself. And then I also hope to get to know some of you that are on here. And I just want this to be kind of like a, if we were in person, it'd be more like a workshop or something. Like we're just kind of having an exchange of energy and flowing together. So that's how I am. A little bit about me. I am from Atlanta, Georgia, born and raised in Atlanta. Still here outside in the outskirts about Fairburn. I am a mother of 7, as she stated. We have a blended family. Our kids range from, we have a 20-year-old son. He's about to be 20. My second oldest is 18. He just turned 18. He has autism and he's epileptic. Then I have a 16-year-old son. I have a almost 15-year-old daughter. She would correct me. She's about to be 15. And I have a set of twins. They are 8. And then we have a little one that we just introduced about a year ago, and she's 1. So we are definitely a full family. And my son, he is blessed with lots of siblings. And that is where the organization began about 5 years ago. I realized that there are siblings in our families and in this journey that do not get the support that they need. And I realized that after missing it with my kids. So my son was, he has seizures, and he has seizures on a daily basis. So his name is Christian. He is 18 now. But for a while, he was having maybe 20 seizures a day. And his siblings, the 2 older ones, they're about the same age. If he was 10, they were 12. And no, if he was 10, they were 8 and 6. And they would ask to take medication. They would ask for different ways that they could be like him, like they were asking for the wheelchair, or crying because he was sick, or realizing that, hey, there's something that I want to be like my brother. And I didn't understand why. I was really defensive as his mom, and I couldn't understand why my kids wanted to do something like that. And I had to take a step back as a mom and realize, like, okay, so what do I do? And how do I support them? And what does that even look like? And I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find stuff online. I couldn't find a community. I couldn't find anybody to be able to share this experience or this thing that I thought was so weird. And why do my kids pretending to take M&Ms like pills? Like, why are they trying to do these things? And I went online, social media, and I created an account, and I just started asking questions. I started sharing their experiences, and became overwhelmed with support and a community that realized that siblings don't often get asked the question, how are you? There's a big gap and a lack of awareness for the siblings, where we think that just because they may not have a disability, that they're just okay or they're fine. When oftentimes the mental health and the wellness of the siblings is where we kind of miss a mark as parents, as providers in a community. And there are different things that we can do to support them and raise that awareness and be able to come together to support the whole family, but not leaving them like they're, I wouldn't say like outcasts, but where they kind of feel like they don't belong as much, or they don't want to bring their problems or their school issues or anything else where they think they're going to burden it onto their parents or to their brother or their sister, where they sometimes feel that they don't have that space or that freedom to feel or to feel validated. And that's where, as parents, and that's something that we try and do at our organization, is be able to share that all feelings are valid. Like, there's space for everybody in our family to feel. And siblings are not always going to get along in any family. So there are different dynamics. Sometimes they do not like each other. There are seasons in their lives where they're not going to get along. And just because my son is autistic and has epilepsy does not mean that I'm required to like him at all times. I love him. I love my brothers and sisters, but I don't like him. I don't like that he throws my stuff down the stairs. I don't like that he slams the door. I don't like these things. And creating a safe space to be able to share something like that and not feel judged, not feel overwhelmed, not feel like I'm a bad person. These are things that we try to work on as an organization with our siblings and the families. Now, from my personal experience, I've noticed a lot of changes in my kids since I began the organization, but also a lot of pushback because now they're teenagers, and that's a whole different ball game when you have like 7, 6-year-olds, 8-year-olds, and they're like all excited, like, oh, we're online and we're on social media. Now they're like, don't show my picture, don't put me in a video, I don't want to do none of this. And so it's like a lot of pushback. So I have to step back as a parent, even though I love them and I created something for them, and I let other people pour into them. They have therapists. Like everyone has their own therapist. And I think that that's really important because they need that venting space. They need these support groups. We're fortunate enough to partner and have sib shops in our community where siblings can come together and share, and they get to be amongst peers. And I think sometimes as parents, we forget that there's oftentimes not a peer space. And that's what I love about y'all's organization, Autism Tree, is that you guys include siblings in these things, and you have spaces for them to be able to be and to accompany their sib or not. And I think that that's something that we try and do an intentional effort in our organization and in our community. We are grassroots. So we are here. We have initiatives that go on, like hardship initiatives, especially during like after COVID, where some of our families, they're struggling with little things here and there. So they apply. And then we work and find community resources to be able to support them in different ways. We were hosting some BIPOC sibling panels. That's something that's really near and dear to me from my experience. I'm from from Atlanta. So Atlanta's it's a big city and a big county, and there's a lot of lack of resources in our communities of color. So we are in an under-resourced community, especially in disability. So if the disability is not getting the support, siblings definitely ain't getting no support. There's nothing over here. So creating spaces where people that look like us can always come and be able to share. We were fortunate enough to partner with some sibling organizations where we hosted some sibling panels for adults. And what's funny is sometimes us as parents, we forget that like, hey, our kids are going to be adults one day. So we're like preparing them. And in educating them, and that empowers them as their sib as they get older, so they're aware of things that are going to be going on. Their siblings, they may not always live in the same city. They may not always live in the same state. I don't know if my son will always live with me, what would happen after I pass or anything. These are all questions as parents we have in the back of our head, but oftentimes we try to handle ourselves, and creating spaces for siblings to even be able to ask those kind of questions. It's kind of heavy, and it's kind of like an elephant in a room if you haven't been prepared or educated on what the possibilities are. But realizing that by educating our siblings, we empower them as advocates for their sibs. So now they have extra people out here that are fighting for them, that know what's going on, know how to support them, and can come and support the entire family. So supporting siblings strengthens everybody, not just the brother, the sister, or the parent, not just the sibs themselves. So that's something that I always want to be able to share with everybody that's coming, that we are very key on empowering our siblings. We want them to know about the disability. We want them to be able to ask questions and share. their experiences. And I want to share a quick video with you all because I didn't realize I could share stuff. I only watched a few of the ones from before, but there's some advice that adult sibs gave to their parents. And it was just it was a panel that we did, and I clipped it up, and I just think I listen to it often. And as a parent, I learn from siblings. I don't have all the answers, and I'll say that. But I also remember that it's okay to not know. It's okay to circle back with your kids, even if they're adults, and say, I'm sorry, or is there something I could have done better? How do you need me right now in this season? Apologies make a difference, and it's okay to be able to say that and show that vulnerability with your kids. It's okay to create that space where they can share with you that you hurt them, and be able to take it as not like I'm a bad parent, but I'm learning, and we're adults and we're human, and I'm going to do better. And please remind me and please help me. I think that that's something that I always try and encourage.
How do we even approach the conversation?
I'm going to share my skill quick with you all. There we go.
With the siblings. You say start young, or make sure you're having these conversations. But being a parent here, there's nothing wrong you could say. I think sometimes we just don't know how to have the conversation. So any pointers or suggestions for parents?
I would say don't force it, because they should already have their sibling bond. If hopefully they'll have their sibling bond by then, because forcing it on them would most likely cause a resentment. Like, why do I have to do this? Why do I do that? So, just explain to them, your sister or your brother might need a little bit more help. Are you okay with helping them? Or at least, so they can still have their fun time as siblings. But, have.
I would say just like check in a lot. Like my mom had like that conversation with me when I was like 7 or 8. And I don't honestly remember us talking about it again until I was like in college. Like, no exaggeration. We were both just like, this thing exists and we're both dealing with it. So I think like she was probably having a lot of like her feelings about it. I was having all these other feelings about it. I didn't want to be an additional burden because I did recognize it as like additional work. So my advice would just be like, check in, even if it's only like once, like you said, a day, like once a year, where you're like, how's it go? How's it go? Like open the conversation, because I do think for me as a sibling who's like a pretty high achieving sibling, both me and my brother went to like Ivy League schools and stuff like that. We were just really focused on making it as easy as possible. So we weren't going to be the ones to like start that conversation. So for me, it would just be like, try and build in opportunities to check in. I feel like organic. And like other folks have said, like don't provide a lot of pressure, but also open it up in case your sibling is ready to talk about how they're feeling about, the whole situation.
Yes, definitely that checking in is very important. Well, to tell you the truth, my parents never really talked about me until now, and I'm 27. But I think for them, they don't want me to feel burdened that I will be the one who's going to take the role of the caretaker. It's just that when I was done with bachelor's, I think I just graduated. I was just alone with my dad and like bring my passport in this office. And I was talking to him about what I wanted to do next. And I told him like, well, Zach is going to be with me. And he stopped and he looked at me and he was like, well, how did you come up to that conclusion? And I said, well, he's going to be with me. And I just take that role. But he was very shocked and he didn't think I would take that role. But that's just my dad. He was just, he didn't want to burden his other children, right? This is a little hard. But my parents are amazing. They're amazing parents, and they're doing whatever they can to support all of their children, me and my other two brothers. But if there were more explanation, if there were more discussion and open discussion, and my parents, even though our backgrounds in an Asian household, they're pretty open to different kinds of discussion. I just wish we had that because like Sam said, like you as a sibling, you don't want to burden them. You reach high, like you're the one kid has no issues, right? Because you know your parents already have to work with their brothers for their own challenges. But if I had that kind of conversation with my parents, I think that would have been so much more helpful and open more doors to other types of communication between them.
Can I add something else? Oh, sorry.
Okay. So there definitely are a lot of things that parents can do to support siblings, but I'll just go back to the basic because I did share that like at a certain point, I have lost myself in loving my siblings too much. I think it would have helped if I have heard from my parents that I matter, like that I am valued as well, that my opinion is important and that I have a choice. That just that feeling of I don't have to carry all of this.
Were you gonna say something, Kimra?
I was just going to say that just don't forget your other children as well, just giving them a little bit of attention as well. Letting, you know, it's not only, even though everything's focused around your special needs sibling, but just making sure they're incorporated as well and not feeling left out.
Yeah, I'll agree with everyone. Just being attentive to what the sibling is feeling, or the sibling without the disability, or yeah, just basically checking in and seeing just the simple question is like, how are you doing? Because those words and those type of actions can mean a lot, especially at a younger age. I know my dad, even though I didn't see him a lot, just him checking in on me every now and then, just yeah, meant the world to me. So.
Sorry, that was a little long. I know it's like 6 minutes, but to me, I really wanted to share. Hold on.
Harold slamming the
I think my
U.S.
thing
right in
kept
the
going.
heels of
1 second.
Harold making landfall in Texas, lashing the coast with heavy rain and tropical force winds after Hillary hit California.
Okay. But no, I just wanted to be able to share that because I'm a parent. So when I started the organization, I know I don't have all the answers. I know I'm not here saying like, this is the way to do it. This is the only way to go. This is what you have to do. But no, this is a whole family. Like we have to be here with each other. We're supporting each other, encouraging each other, and standing together. And we learn from each other. We unlearn together, we relearn, we try again, and we find what works. So me sharing sibling stories is that's my heart. I learn from siblings. I learn from the adults, I learn from the kids, and I learn how to become a better parent, a better human, a better person. And so that's why I wanted to make sure I shared that with you all, and I'll definitely make sure. Here we go. But I wanted to make sure I shared that. I want to know about the audience, and if you guys can drop it in the chat. If you're a sibling, do you have siblings? How many? Yeah, I would just love to know. So
Open it up. You can type in the chat.
mhm,
I love that that you shared that video. Thank you for that.
you're welcome.
Send out a recap email with resources. So can you share the link with us? I'd like to.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. I definitely can share you the link to that video.
So Amy has a sister.
Okay. Well, hello, Amy. Thanks for sharing.
Anybody else?
Well, I know as a parent myself that in our organization, the things that we do when working with parents is working on our self-care and realizing that the stuff that we do, how we model ourselves and how we take care of ourselves reflects to the kids. And so if you are always super overwhelmed and down and you look heavy and you look tired and you can't express yourself and communicate with them like, oh, this is a rough day, this is just a rough moment, they take all the energy, they take it, and then they carry it into adulthood and to how they view disability, how they view what this life will be like if they become a caretaker. So you're modeling every day how you live and how you look for resources and how you accept help and ask for help. And you're showing them by how we're living, what to do or what not to do. And I think that that's something that I had to learn is like, we're reflectors. So everything we're doing, like we're reflecting what this caretaker life looks like. And can you ask for help? Because a lot of times kids, I mean, they want to help, but they also want to know, like, am I included? Like, can I make a comment? Can I share about my brother? Like, I know once when Christian was younger, I would be helping him do stuff. And my son was like, he does that when you're not here. Like, he does that himself. And I was like, what are you talking about? No, like, he's not doing. He was like, yeah, he does. And then he looked, he was like, he got y'all fooled. He don't have me fooled. I was like, okay. So I had to like take a step back and realize their perspective of their brother is totally different than me as their mom. Like, I'm mom. So there are certain things that they're only going to do with me and they're not going to do around me. And there's certain things, even Christian, like just because he's nonverbal doesn't mean that he's not listening and he's not seeing or watching everything we're doing. And that's something I had to learn, a while ago, but it just always brings me back and makes me laugh because they'll like, look, and at first my son wouldn't say anything, his sibling, he would just be like, okay, so he's taking it like, you just doing more for Christian. And I'm thinking, no, I'm helping Christian. And he's like, well, Christian does it himself. So it's just, if we had like open communication and the more we like started talking to each other and working together, it's like, oh, wow. Okay. So what else do you know? Like, what else goes on between, like, what else do y'all be talking about that you ain't sharing, or pushing him to do things that he might not initially want to do. So those are things that little things that I think that are funny. Oh, I see people actually responded in the chat here. Sorry. I didn't see. 2 sons with disabilities, as well as working with families who have children with autism. Well, hello, David and Amy. I see 1 sister. And hi, David. 2 Davids. It's been a long time. Like you have a blended family and 3 kids. Okay, my career is working in the. Thank you for being with. Well, thank you. Mama 5. Okay, you up there with me. Our oldest is 16. My next daughter, 14, has really struggled. Oh, my heart. Jeniece, I have a question about siblings helping with ed tech and other support systems. Please ask. What is your question, David?
Hi, this is fantastic. I'm really wanting to help the parents who right now are helping their children with speech delays, and we have a program called Sing and Speak for Kids, which is
Mm.
an online ed tech game. And I've just noticed anecdotally that some of the older siblings are playing with their younger siblings, and it's fascinating and it's wonderful, and I want to know how to encourage and support them more in that process, in that experience. If you've got any kind of ideas or anecdotes, experiences in that.
Yeah, I do. And it's funny. My son now, he's 18 and he's been nonverbal. He's had seizures since he was 3. And he recently has been working with an AAC device. So he has a tablet that he's been working on, and he has an 8-year-old sister. And she kind of like, she's been drawn to the screen and like working. And so he'll kind of follow her lead and seeing how she does it. And it's funny because it's interesting to watch their dynamic, because even though they're 10 years apart, whatever she's trying to do and she gets excited about it, or she's like really interested, he'll just kind of like, you kind of see him at the side of his eye looking and staring. And then she'll encourage him like, Christian, try it. Christian, do it. And he'll listen to her before he listens to me or to his dad or like his any like family member. Like he really watches what she's doing. So including siblings on like some of those, even if they had like a session where you taught the siblings, and even teaching the siblings while the other person's watching, where it's like everybody's included. And sometimes asking the parent which sib might want to be, or might want to help, might want to support, because maybe not every sibling wants to, but you usually have at least one that's like curious. And if you ask them, and it's not like it's not a demand, and you kind of just like make it like, do you want to just have fun and play with them? Like, would you like to try it? Tell me what you think about it. What do you think your brother would, just including them in those type of conversations, it just really encourages everybody, and it boosts their morale for the whole family. Because sometimes parents are doing, I'm cooking dinner, I'm doing this, and I see them together, and she's like, hey, what do you want for dinner? Like, pick one thing that you want, like, use it. And she won't let him get it until you like press the button or something. And it's just like funny to watch, because he'll like resist most things I'm doing now, especially with his age. He's like, I think he's just tired of me. It's like, Mom, he's like 18. So he's like, nah. But her or, somebody else like coming in is just like, okay, yeah, we can do it. So definitely I would encourage that. And I love that you even like notice that, because a lot of community and providers, it's like, okay, or they'll ask the sibling like to leave, or, to stand over here or be in the waiting room. But including them, even like sometimes it makes a big difference. It does.
Have you seen any videos that show this happening?
I can actually send you some, and I can connect you with somebody. Actually, she's her name is Stacy, and she is phenomenal. We brought her in to work with Christian, and she travels and she works with families, even like virtually. But she was the one who like really helped me like to really notice like, oh, you bringing Rose in. And she says like, even in her experiences working with kids and adults with autism, that bringing their sibling in along on the journey, it really helps to open them up. So I will definitely send you her information. Okay. She's a really good resource to have.
Should I put my email in the chat?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, you can, and I'll definitely grab it.
And just one last thing I wanted to mention, that my 2 adult sons, they've been diagnosed with schizophrenia at the age of 19, which has some similarities, and the older one has really managed his life extremely well, and now is supporting the younger one, who's been in a locked facility for 8 years. So it's been pretty severe, but it's a beautiful thing to watch them together and see how they're growing. I just want to share that piece of my sibling world. It's amazing.
Thank you for sharing that with me.
Welcome.
And yeah, definitely put your information in so I can grab it.
Anybody else want to unmute themselves to have a little chat?
Yeah, I like talking. I like conversation. Rachel, I know you shared that your 14-year-old is really struggling. How is that? Even if you don't want to put in the chat, I don't mind giving my information and you can reach out. I love my daughter's 14 too, and she has struggled up and down. And I didn't mention, but there are kids, there are youth that struggle with like suicidal ideations. And it's a big area within the sibling community that people don't always talk about, because it's scary to even want to put that out there and to share that. But thinking that everyone would be better if I wasn't here, if they didn't, don't even want to hear about my burden or what happened at school today, and they're carrying all this weight, especially post-COVID. And people getting back to this sense of like normalcy and getting back to what it used to be. But in, our youth and in their experiences, they've been at home this whole time. And their home experiences are not always like their peers' home experiences. So I think that is something that we sometimes overlook, but always bringing in, I suggest therapy. Like therapists, there are certain ones that really work with siblings and that are fortunate enough to be able to tap into those feelings, and then coping and learning really good coping skills. And when they learn them young and they're able to bring those into adulthood and make them stronger adults and being able to communicate effectively. So yeah. Oh, you did respond. Okay. Sorry.
I can read it out loud just for the
Okay, go ahead.
Rachel says she's been diagnosed with PTSD due to some of his more violent episodes. Living in a small town, we're trying to connect her with other siblings online, and yay for therapists.
Definitely. Well, I would definitely love to connect. And depending on what area you're in, I could definitely, if you're still looking to connect with siblings online, I'm sure I could set you resources for something like that, so she could create that space. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, don't give up. Even in the small towns, like that's what's so beautiful about social media. That's what's so beautiful about the internet. It could be, and it has its negative sides as well, but when you can be able to connect and find a community, that's all she needs. She just needs somebody that gets it and where she can just feel safe to be able to share. And yeah, so I definitely will send some resources to you for her. I think that's. Hey, David.
Hey, no, I just wanted to comment on that, on the social media part and connecting now with Zoom and everything. I think that gives us a huge window of opportunity to be able to connect with coaches, therapists, other groups around the country and, around the world and stuff like that, to really build that support network, because that's what's really needed. I mean, we ourselves feel alone because of the situation we're in. But as we slowly merge out and start connecting with all these different groups and stuff like that, we're realizing that there's other people like us, and there's other groups out there and stuff like that that really want to support and help. And so building that network of support is really, really powerful.
Great. I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. Yes.
What are you of this? I mean, besides obviously special needs siblings, and I assume you have a Facebook page.
Oh yeah, I do. Yep, we have. Oh, where to find us? Yeah, so we're on Instagram, special_needs_siblings. Then on Facebook, special needs siblings, LinkedIn, YouTube, everything special needs siblings. And then my personal is my first name, Jeniece, at specialneedsiblings.com. And yeah, I mean, we just literally we're grassroots, like I said, so we're still like putting our stuff together and like figuring some things out. But the things that we do they're all community driven. We do stuff in our Atlanta area, and we love connecting. So anytime I can be online and be able to share, anytime I can connect and be able to sit and have conversations with siblings, parents, providers, and lean into them, and then like they also pour into me. So I think that that's powerful. So definitely connect with us, share your stories. There's areas on our website where you can submit a sibling if you have an experience that you want to share. We love highlighting our siblings and being able to share their stories, because a lot of times people don't ask the siblings their experiences when it pertains to that part of their journey. And that's something that we pride ourselves in being able to do. So.
Karen is our director of ministry, and any of our families who are going through a crisis, we call Karen, and Karen calls, raises them, and doesn't matter their religion. It's just, filling them with love and support. So she's with us since day one, and she shared our son was diagnosed with autism, and he's now 52, and our best supporters throughout the years are his brother and sister. They were so amazing with Todd growing up. Our home was a hub in the community, and everyone was welcome, and Todd was a part of that. Great job, Jeniece. You're so full of light and love.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that about your kids too. That's encouraging.
Yeah. Thanks so much. This has been so wonderful. And I know there's so many parents that I come into, because we have 500 brand new families that have come in, and we're small too. So I'm calling, I'm on the phones with these new families, and a lot of them are asking, about their younger kids and how to approach the conversation.
Yeah.
How to include their siblings. Is there any advice, like last minute advice you would want to share with new parents for approaching the conversation for like kids who are smaller versus like teenagers?
Yeah. So an age appropriate type of advice, usually child-led. So say there's an experience, or I don't know, there's something going on. As soon as like something starts changing, don't be silent about it. Like, I find that speaking through something like, okay, this is happening, narrating, like in some type of, in a form where I used to hide stuff from my kids. I didn't want them to see him having seizures, even though they saw it. I tried to protect them, and thinking that I was protecting them from like 3-4 years old. But I've learned now that I've had like older kids and I had more children, that actually during that time I could have been teaching them and sharing with them what was going on, even as young as 3 or 4. When my kids would see their sibling have a seizure, and I'm like, he's having a seizure. I'm going to lay his head down to the side. This is why I'm doing it. They're not going to remember everything. They're going to share their feelings. But if I'm talking to them and I'm including them, then they're like, well, is he okay? How does he feel? Does he hurt? The questions will change over time, like get more specific, or sometimes like a little morbid. Like my kids are all very different, but they feel comfortable enough to ask me, and they're no longer in fear, or they can even relay it to their friends, where before it's like, I want to fight for my brother because y'all looking at him crazy. Instead, now they're like, he's stemming. This is what it means to stem. And they're like advocates, but also educating. So what I would tell younger families with younger kids is like sharing with them as much as what's going on, not in doctor's terms, clearly, but just like things are happening as a family. Maybe your brother has an appointment, but even though he has an appointment, we're going to do something, like we're going to have a special time together. What is something you want to do? Or something like that. If there's a lot of stuff, I don't know, some families have calendars. So making sure that you have like special days that are noted for their stuff. and special mommy and daddy only time, where it's like we just have these conversations. As they get older and they may not want to talk, I suggest journals, where it's like on one page I'm writing and then I leave it in your room and you get to come and just let it out. And this is like a safe journal, it's a safe space. So whatever you're writing here, one, you're not in trouble, you're not judged. This is safe. This is just us having a conversation, because maybe you don't feel comfortable telling me, but you still want me to know something. So, and that's more like 11, 12, when they're like teenage. That's what I do with my teenagers now. But yeah, just including them in those conversations and not being scared to have them. Like you heard some of those adult siblings say, I kind of listen to adults and their experiences and the feedback they have for their parents. And I try and take that and like, okay, how can I use this now in the experiences I have with my kids growing up? And that's ask them how they're doing. Even if they're like annoyed with me, how are you doing? And even if we're at an emergency room, I'll even like ask the nurses, I'll say, hey, can you ask my other kids how they're doing? Can you know, because sometimes they don't even realize, like they just ignored like, somebody else. And they'll be like, oh yeah, okay. And then maybe they'll go grab them like a popsicle or just do something. But you're also educating and showing them like you can speak up for yourself, and you can, share. And as communities, we need to come together. Like I could use you guys just asking, hey, how are you? How was your school day? I know it's late and we're at the ER right now. Are y'all coming in here and this appointment is like 8 o'clock or whatever? How are y'all? How was your day today? Little stuff like that makes a huge difference. Those are like core memories that they kind of like don't forget. And I think that that's a pretty powerful thing to be able to do.
Phenomenal advice. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you guys. I know that this has been so much fun. I'm just so grateful I've been able to share and talk to you all and talk with you guys. I'm just grateful. Thank you for having me here today.
Us too. I'd love to take a group picture of everyone before we head out. So if you'd like to share your video, we'd love to see you. Awesome. And I'll take a screenshot so you could just.
Hi, Cindy. I love seeing you on here. I miss you. Cindy's coming in from Newtown Square, Pennsylvania.
Our East Coast people. All right. Ready to smile at the camera? 3, 2, 1. Cheers. Love it. Wonderful. Thank you again, Jeniece.
Great job,
Thank
Jeniece.
you. Thank you very much, Dana. Thank you. Yes, I appreciate it. Thank you all.
Thank you
I
very
got
much.
your information, so I'm definitely going to reach out to you.
I love it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You have a great one. Bye. Bye, Jeff.
Bye.